Hello, 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 everybody. It is me, Slightly Bitta, and I am back for another reality recap where we'll be spilling all the tea, all the shade, and all the pink lemonade on Big Brother 28. Before I get this live going, please subscribe, like, share with all your friends, because we are going to be spilling the tea on Big Brother all season long. If you have not checked it out yet, go to our channel and go watch our recap on the premiere with myself and Felicia Cannon from BB28 and Chantel, my usual co-host. I did have to take down the original live and re-upload it just because I wanted to, have this layout and everything. So there was a new version put up. I put the word kill in the title and I realized, oh, you're supposed to say unalive nowadays or else you get moderated. I don't know if YouTube is like that, like it is on TikTok, but who knows? So go give that some love. Anyways, we got to dive on into this because this was an episode. So y'all, I have been doing my damnedest to keep up with this season of Big Brother, and it's been very overwhelming, and I was just like, all right, I need to just wait until we actually get the episode because I had heard so many conflicting things. I had heard, okay, there is a MAGA alliance going on. Then I was hearing that it's fake. It's not a real MAGA alliance. I heard that there's showmances going on or whatever. And this episode actually was very helpful for me to see what was going on. I do have a question though. Why was this episode 90 minutes? I remember just looking at the clock because I started watching this episode while I was out getting dinner. I was at the gym. I went on a walk. I went to go get myself hibachi. And then as I got home, it was like around like 8:30, 8:45. And they were on like that showman segment with the gross display of PDA, which we will have to talk about in a bit. And I was like, damn, they're not even going to show why Mallory and spoiler alert, all of them went on the block. Mind you, I had already seen, what happened with the veto, what happened with the noms, all that good stuff. And then I look at, I click on TV Guide. Oh, 90 minutes. This will be done in 9:30. I'm like, God damn. I don't know what it is, but Big Brother, whenever Big Brother does 90-minute episodes, it drags for me. And I'm going to tell you, these last, 15 minutes of the show, it dragged. Like, I was all for having longer episodes of Big Brother because I do feel like the show itself doesn't do the best job showing what's actually going on in the house. But I don't know. Like, it was all right, but I did start to look at the clock once it hit 9 o'clock. So one thing we learned with this episode was that this is Dee's game, and these people are just, playing in it. That's why I made the title, It's Dee's Game. It was astounding watching the way that Dee and Rick, but more so Dee, navigated this first week and this HOH. I was amazed by it. It was almost like everyone else was playing a kindergarten version of Big Brother, and then the Survivor players are playing a more grown-up version of the game, a more sophisticated version. And it's not helping beat the allegations that Survivor players are 10 times the players that Big Brother players are. But anyways, we are going to dive on into this episode. I am going to try my best to have some photo guides as we go along because I have Twitter pulled up, but I'm going to try not really using it too much. Also, we are going to have to talk about some things that did not make the episode, so stay tuned for In the BB News. That will be how we wrap up this episode because there's a lot of shit that has gone down these last couple days. Okay, so anyways, if you did not see BB Unlocked, I did end up watching it. No, I'm not going to be doing a live for BB Unlocked because it's a recap of a recap. That kind of feels redundant to me. But during BB Unlocked, I am saying that is what it's called, correct? During BB Unlocked, they revealed that the third house guest replacing Rachel is Dee. Here's my thing. Most of these motherfuckers didn't know who Dee was. It was very obvious, and as I've been watching the show, the live feeds, or getting the updates on the live feeds, it has become very apparent to me that none of them know who she is, or at least the only ones that do know who she is like Drew and Barrett, the super fans. So to me, I feel like this twist would have landed a little better if they had brought in more Big Brother alumni. And the fact of the matter is they just did not really bring in any Big Brother. They brought in Angela and that was it. I think that this could have gone over better if this was if they did Big Brother, Survivor, Big Brother, Survivor. But it worked out the way that it did. Also, we should probably address with Dee that she posted a video to her Instagram about going on the show, which I thought was pretty cute. I thought that that's something that I would probably do if I ever was to go on Big Brother. But I do want to play this because it gave me more questions for the show. So let's take a look. Give me 1 second to pull this up, y'all. Let's stay on me for a second, but while I'm pulling that up, basically, if you head over to her Instagram, in the day, I think this was like yesterday that she put it up there. She was talking about what happened, why she was there, all that good stuff. Why the hell is my video went home? It is gone. Oh no, it's back. Oh, y'all are probably like, he's crazy. And you're right, I am crazy. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, I have to deactivate this. Look at how crazy this is. Fucking Streamlabs. Streamlabs does this shit to me. Okay, here it is. And you can see my whole setup. Y'all are probably like, who is this guy? Okay, here we go. So this was Dee's little video that she made.
Thankfully, this is just a pre-recorded video because for the next 3 months, I'm competing on a show called Big Brother. So by the time you guys are watching this video, I am either sequestered in a hotel room for about a week and a half, up to 2 weeks, or I'm already playing the game. And I know you're probably thinking, what the is Dee doing? First of all, I don't even know what I'm doing. The moment that I got called, which was a month ago, the moment I got called, I said, no. Here are a few reasons why I said no. And I got a few secrets to spill so that you guys don't end up judging me while I'm on the show. Number one, I had never watched Big Brother. I know. Sue me. When I got called, I said, absolutely not. I've never seen the show. And also, it's a 3-month-long commitment. I am trying to have a summer on somebody's son in Italy, having the time of my life, enjoying my singleness, enjoying the last year of my 20s before I turned 30, October 2nd. Like, I had all of the reasons as to why I should not compete on Big Brother. Then I got sold. There were some pretty good reasons why I should go on the show. Let me just say something. I binge watched 2 seasons, okay? Those of you that wanted newbies on the show, consider me a newbie because today's June 22nd, so I'm leaving in a few days and I'm a little bit nervous. Not so nervous about the game itself. I'm just a little bit more nervous.
So if you want to watch the rest of it, go ahead, watch the rest of it. But here is what I gathered from that little clip that we got of her. And while I'm doing that, let me quickly fix my camera. I gotta figure out what the hell is going on with this and why I have to activate it, deactivate it, like, oof. Anyways, I'm back. So this is what I gathered from that little video that Dee put out. She was asked to do this very last second. So my question now arises, was this a last minute twist? Did they have something else in mind? Like, were they originally going to do Big Brother players? Were they originally going to do a different Survivor? Was Rick Devens always going on this and maybe Dee was not the person that they chose? Like, I really need to know what was going on with this twist. Because at first, I was already thinking this reality icon thing was weird to me. It felt very uneven having 2 survivors and 1 Big Brother player. But now hearing that Dee was asked to do this so last second, it makes me feel like something went wrong. And you know what? People were saying that there was rumors of Big Brother icons being players. Maybe they couldn't get the icons they wanted. I don't know, but I would really love to know when Rick was asked to come and when Angela was asked to come. And that would give me a better insight into why all this went down. It also could be, too, that Survivor 50 finished airing 2 months ago, right? So it also could be that maybe with Survivor 50, they wanted to wait till the season was done, see where the popularity was, and then pick from there. Because Rick Devin's popularity was through the roof. Everyone loved Rick. I think if Sari wasn't on that cast, it would have been a slam dunk that he would have been the fan favorite. And then with D has kind of become, the new era representative for the show. So it was very confusing watching that. So D is now in the game, and with D now in the competition, we have the first HOH. So let's talk about the first HOH. The first HOH, which they were not able to compete in, I still thought that was horseshit. That they were, hey, DM Rocks. Actually, I started to like Rome this episode as well. So I know I put a clip out there where I was not a fan of him, but I actually started liking him this episode. So with this HOH, if any of you watched Big Brother 18, this was the Big Brother 18 competition. So back in Big Brother 18, it was very similar where they had 4 returning house guests come in and put in teams with the players. And basically, they were playing to not be the first evicted, and so that their person could become the HOH. It was what the Hit the Road challenge. So this time, with the house guests have no chance of winning HOH. It's only their person that their icon, the reality icon, which put a couple of them in an interesting spot. Like Taylor, for example, who does not like Rick, and she got assigned to be on Rick's team. Now she's fighting for him to win HOH, and it's like, maybe I don't want him to win HOH. I didn't like that aspect of this, but it felt like, too, if you didn't give Angela, Rick, or D the first HOH, more than likely, at least one is going to go on the block if you're not giving them immunity. So I kind of do get it, but hey. So with this challenge, it's all about building a puzzle, a fire puzzle, and your teammates have to keep it held up. And if it drops, then you have to restart. And the twist they added on this is that last place will be have-nots. One thing I got to give kudos to for Big Brother is that the have-not situation is something that for a while kind of got swept under the rug. Like, if y'all remember back in, like, I think Big Brother 19 and 21 and 20, the whole not eating and have-not thing became not even really part of the show. And to me, it's a big deal. Like, not being able to eat, not like all this stuff. So it, and especially with what we saw the have-not room was like, it became a really important thing. And I do appreciate that. So the strategy became either try to get your person to win, or at least don't be last. If someone had wanted to just throw the challenge, you basically couldn't do that because that have-not incentive was in there, which is good game design in my opinion. So with this challenge, I guess they're kind of trying to like do a Survivor throwback, like, hey, make fire, kind of like you would on Survivor. All that stuff. There was in my notes, I wrote down a couple of interesting interactions that we got out of this. So firstly, we have Latrice, Lala, if you will. Lala is a hater, y'all. Lala is a motherfucking hater. Anytime that she has been on this show so far, all she has been talking about is Angela. Oh, I don't like Angela. Oh, Angela, I don't want her. I'm on her team, and I don't want her to be the first HOH. There can only be one older woman. It's disappointing because I really liked Lala, and after this episode, I'm just convinced that she wants to be the resident older lady. And for some reason, this is an archetype of its own. In my show, DH When I Love Money, I have noticed quite a few times whenever I bring in an older woman, they always expect to be the only older woman. And then when they're not, they get fucking territorial over it. I don't get it. I feel like if you are Latrice and you're coming into this thing as by and large the oldest person, I think the closest person in age to her was like someone in their 30s. I would be stoked that someone who is in 5, 6 years in my age gap is on this game. Now you have some type of bridge between you and the youngest person. Especially if you're going to tell the truth. I fully thought she was going to lie about her age. But she's all up in here, like, just trying to get Angela out. Like, baby, no one wants a mother in the Big Brother house. And I'm going to tell you right now, Latrice does not give mother energy. She might be a mother, but she's not mother in the house. I don't see anybody looking at Latrice in a motherly way, the same way they're going to look at to Angela. And this is not me shitting on Angela, but Latrice is a fucking babe. Latrice got body yaddy yaddy. Latrice could have said she was 37. People would have probably not looked twice. So it's like, you can't want to be the mother of the house, and then in the same vein, be a MILF. I don't feel like MILFs ever on Big Brother have been looked at as the mother. And I'm not saying Angela's not a MILF. I love Angela, but y'all know what I mean. Then we have Taylor. Taylor is still hung up on this Rick thing, but I gotta say, I actually really like that this dynamic is being shown, because in my opinion, some of the most powerful moments on Big Brother and Survivor that can make the difference between whether someone is your ally or your enemy is moments like this, as simple as a vibe or a look or not shaking someone's hand and shaking everyone else's hands. And I guarantee you Rick Devens did not do this on purpose. I don't think Rick would have went out of his way to not shake her hand. But now it's stuck in Taylor's head. I can't deal with this dude, and I don't want him to win, but I can't lose. Taylor, to me, comes off a bit as a fire. It comes off a bit as a hothead. Like, you got to learn to let stuff go. And then seeing some of the stuff she's saying on the feeds that we'll get to later, I don't know about Taylor. Well, you know what? We're talking about it right now. We might as well talk about it right now. So if you didn't see on the feeds, Taylor is in a bit of a controversy because she said that what did she say? Oh, here it is. Taylor, I'm going to pull it up for you guys so you guys can see. She said, Taylor says she doesn't know any kids who act like Ashley and don't have an IEP. Okay, so what is an IEP? An IEP is an individual education plan. And as soon as I realized that Taylor is an elementary school counselor, it made total sense to me why she would use this verbiage. Now, people are saying that Taylor is being ableist by saying that Ashley should have an IEP. Let me explain something to y'all, because I worked with kids for over 10 years, and as recently as this past month was working with a child with an IEP. An IEP, yes, it extends to kids on the spectrum, it extends to kids with behavioral disorders, but an IEP can go to any kid. An IEP can go to a kid that hit his teacher and was kicked out of school and now has to get like in-home teaching. And in that IEP, it just goes over like what that child's needs are. And if that child has a temper, even if they're not on the spectrum or whatever, like they're going to have an IEP. Now, mind you, though, an IEP is something that is mainly going to go out for kids that are on the spectrum, have ADHD, or have any of that, or have behavioral disorders or whatever. But knowing that Ashley is a school counselor, it does make sense to me that she would use that as a read. But again, it's the first week of Big Brother, and I don't think that these house guests yet have truly understood what the fuck they're doing. Because or how to act in the Big Brother house. Because when you're in the Big Brother house, you can't be saying shit that can be taken out of context or can be heard in a bad context. Um, it's the same way that you could say, I want to fucking kill somebody. And people will take that literally when they're watching it on the live feeds. So people trying to cancel her, don't cancel her. I don't think that's what she meant, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know. But her saying Ashley should be on an IEP is not ableist. It's not the way that you would take it. So, um, and okay, so I know we're still on the first HOH, but we get through all that shit. So, anyways, um, D wants people to rely on her for safety. So, one thing I was worried about with D and Rick is that when I watched Suri on Big Brother 25, I felt that Suri, in a way, tarnished her legacy for me only because watching her play, I saw so many mistakes with her game. And Survivor can cover up those mistakes because we don't see every single second that, you're out there. But it's like Suri was flipping. I was talking about this Felicia last time. Like D was flipping back and forth every single second. So I wasn't sure how D would translate to the game of Big Brother. But she has got this figured out. D is a physical threat. She's beautiful. She's Barrett's Survivor Crush. She's my Survivor Crush. That is the way that is what you want to be. You are coming into this as a winner of another show. You can't be playing under the radar. You can't be playing as someone relying on others. You should be the person that people are looking to protect them in the game. And that is what she did tonight, because we already saw Camu or Rome or whoever it was. I still can't tell the difference between these people yet. One of them was like, oh, I really want D to win. I want to uplift her. I want to show her that she can trust me. So, oh, that was Rome. So Rome said that about Angela. Angela's another one that really impressed me tonight. Angela is completely flipping this, and I'm so happy for Angela. I think coming into this, everyone expected the old crazy eyes Angela. I think that's what they wanted out of her as well. The same way when they brought Davon back for season 18, they were expecting, popping off on people or whatever. So I like that Angela, even though there is still definitely that part of her, she's playing very differently. In fact, I actually think that if Angela had not won the first HOH on her season, she would have been in a much better spot the whole way through. It's just her first HOH was such a disaster, there was no way to recover from it. So I'm actually very glad she did not win this first HOH, and D ended up winning. So D wins. What I was also a little confused by was that her team, the only incentive there was for you to try to get your person to win was that you would not be a have-not. I was like thinking after the challenge was over, I was like, do the people on this team get safety? But then I'm like, no, they didn't get safety because Rome, Jason, and Chuck already got safety. So basically, it's just, oh, thanks for helping me win, and D can put you on the block still, and she put one of them on the block. So moving forward, they do the introductions, and I always get tripped out in these newer seasons because nowadays they do the introductions in like the second episode, because the first episode of Big Brother now always has to have some crazy shit going on, like an HOH or a power or something like that. There's always something crazy going on. So they do their introductions, and there's something about BB introductions that hit different. I always love the introductions because the editing team for Big Brother does a really good job of giving us a perspective on who these people are and setting up what we're going to see throughout the season. And as always, we got a bunch of horny motherfuckers that haven't even known each other for more than 2 seconds, and they're already, flooding their basements. Now, while I was watching the episode tonight, there was some shit going on, and at first I was going to be judgmental, but then I got to thinking, I remember being stuck in sequester for the Beast Games for only maybe three, four, maybe 3 days without human interaction. When the actual Canadian show, we were able to leave and roam around and talk to people, and you also had your own private time. But it's like being cooped up in a room for, I think they spend 2 weeks cooped up in a room sequester, and you have no access to porn, you have no access to other people. The only thing think they get is like movies and TV. It's like I kind of understand, especially if you got a high libido, being turned on by any Tom, Dick, or Harry that comes around you. Like I kind of understand it. So already we've got Haley crushing on Kamu. I don't think Kamu returned the favor though, but it was Haley crushing on Kamu. Uh, Drew crushing on Melody, which I was kind of shocked at first, but then I thought about how on Beast Games there was actually a blonde girl that was really into Drew. I don't know if they ever ended up talking afterwards. She was kind of a nut job. But it does kind of make sense to me. And also, how old is Melody? Is she Melody's only 24, so yeah, no, it's not that big a difference. So it's like I could see that. Then Barrett is crushing on D. I thought he was going to go after Ashley, but Ashley is like old news once D came in here. But then the biggest one is Lyric and Rome. And I gotta say, every season we get these people that come into the game, and they're very obviously set up to be what I call showmance bait. And these two were very obviously put in there for the sake of having a showmance. The same way, in my opinion, Zach and Lauren were cast last season in the hopes of them being in a showmance. The most conventionally attractive people. And I will say, Lyric and Rome are probably the most attractive people in that house. I mean, to me, I find Dee very attractive, and I guess I would say I find Rome attractive. I mean, everyone in that house, honestly, there's not really anyone ugly in there, in my opinion. Um, but I would say conventionally, Rome and Lyric are probably the most attractive in there. So them getting together makes sense to me. I could totally see them on Love Island, especially Lyric. Lyric is stunning. I mean, Lauren last season was stunning, but Lyric is really freaking stunning. But yeah, they were the only ones I noticed last in this episode tonight that were mutually attracted to each other. With all the other ones, it was either one person said something and the other person didn't return the favor, at least in confessionals. So with the introductions, some of the highest things I had in here was Latrice. Latrice is still on Angela's neck. The second Angela's talking, Latrice is talking about how Angela is known for the crazy eyes, and if she does that erratic behavior, she's not going to tolerate it. And, here's my thing, is we saw last season that people could not get this image of Rachel out of their minds, and most of them had not even watched her season. They just had saw, like, the highlights of her. And my thing is, the worst thing you can do when you're playing with a returning player is box them in to whatever your vision of them is, whatever your expectation of them is. And it's like, I'm starting to think that Latrice is just in the mindset of Angela is the same Angela as she was on 26. I did not like her, and I have no interest in her being there. And to me, that makes Latrice not as smart of a player as I thought she was. I thought Latrice was going to be a better player, but I'm really starting to like lose my likeness for her. So then who was Ashley? Whew, I gotta tell you, Ashley, she did make me laugh, and it made me like her. But Ashley talks in circles. Ashley, I can totally see getting on people's nerves, but from what I'm seeing in the house, she's a floater. She's not in any alliances, but everyone seems to kind of like her. Like, she's pretty likable. And this whole I've never had a burger bit was pretty funny. I kind of liked that. And then she's talking about, I've never had a burger, but I like meat, I like cheese, I like buns, I like lettuce. I'm like, Are you sure you've never had a burger? Maybe you've just never thought about that you had a burger. I don't know. So the next interesting moment was when Jason, aka Selena Estidi, stood up and talked about doing drag. Now here's my thing. The second you say that you are a drag queen, the first question someone is going to ask you is, have you ever auditioned to go on RuPaul? Have you been on RuPaul? Because you got to remember, the mainstream idea of a drag queen is RuPaul's Drag Race. So now that you have told everyone that you are a drag queen, you are putting yourself in a position where you either have to come clean that you were on the show, or you have to lie. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to lie. And my thing is, I don't think, now that you're a week into this and you have immunity at this moment, Jason has immunity. Jason can't go on the block. If you come clean that you were on RuPaul's Drag Race, it's not like you won. It's not like RuPaul's Drag Race is like a competition. It's in the same vein as Lyric. Lyric was on American Idol. It's not like Drew, who did Beast Games, which is a competition, like strategy competition, game competition. I feel like Jason shot himself in the foot, because now if anybody figures out that you were on RuPaul's Drag Race, you are going to come off as a liar. And Angela immediately said, I might follow you. You're a drag queen. That was the moment for her to just come clean. Because if anyone may have even think that they knew who you were, just come clean. To me, I don't understand lying about being on RuPaul Drag Race. If anything, there is probably at least somebody on this cast besides Angela that has probably at least watched RuPaul's Drag Race. If not watched her season, at least watched it. And all Selena has to say is, oh, I was on it. I got to top 6. It also opens the door to talk about it. When you're on Big Brother, you have literally nothing but time. There are only so many things you can talk about. And now that is a huge part of your life that you can't talk about. You can't talk about any of the shows you've done. You can't talk about the tours you went on with Drag Race. You can't talk about the friends you've made. Or if you ever do talk about the friends from Drag Race, now you have to think about it through the conversation and make sure you don't slip up and say that you competed with them. There's so many things that you could do. It reminds me a lot of, if you watch Survivor 49, D's nuts are falling like dominoes. Thank you, Arthur. One of the commenters said that. But it reminds me so much of, on Survivor 49, when you had that guy, what was his name? The bald mother, Nate, who made Black Panther. And he didn't tell anyone that he made Black Panther because he thought he'd put a target on himself. And lo and behold, there was people that came out post-season, like I think Jawan, that said, oh my god, if Nate had said that he worked on Black Panther, that's something that we could have bonded over. I understand not opening with it, not telling people the first week that you did RuPaul Drag Race or that you worked on, a Marvel thing. But once the targets have been set, you get through the first vote, none of that shit matters anymore. Nobody is going to be like, oh, well, he was on RuPaul Drag Race, we gotta put him on the block. Especially with reality icons in there. What, are you afraid you're gonna get lumped in with them? No. So it's like, okay, I totally get why Jason is revealing he's a drag queen. That is his profession. I don't think he has another job. I do know that there are some RuPaul Drag Race queens that do have day jobs. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So I don't think Selena Estidis has a day job, but it's such a specific circumstance. But it's just the reality. If you are a drag queen, whether you did the show or you didn't do the show, you are tied to RuPaul's Drag Race. And to me, it's a missed opportunity to lie about doing RuPaul Drag Race, especially since your fucking season is airing right now. All Stars 11 is airing right now. And yes, Selena is not on it anymore. She got eliminated. But come on, man. Come on. And I think, wasn't Selena Estidis in Stop That Train? Anyways, but Angela recognizes Jason. And I guess it's a perfect time to segue into the moment that they had together because it's a little out of order, but why not? So Jason later on had a conversation with Angela, and it made me again, we're really seeing a different side of Angela that I think the season 26 cast missed out on because they were so quick to isolate her because of the whole thing with Matt. Jason starts talking about how he doesn't feel the most comfortable in the house because he's never been around this many straight people. And I guarantee you there are some heterosexuals out there that they hear that and they instantly go, "Oh, fuck this guy. Fuck drag queens. They're heterophobic," or whatever the fuck they want to say. And here's the thing. I totally understand it. I totally understand it. You got to remember that Jason, I don't remember, I think Jason grew up in San Francisco or whatever, which is let me actually double check that right now before I speak. Jason lives in Los Angeles, but I want to say someone said that Jason was born in San Francisco. Jason, I'm pretty sure said that he was bullied as a kid. I mean, what gay person is not? But now as a drag queen, Jason is probably most of the time hanging around exclusively queer people. And when you are queer, you always have to have your guard up. And I equate it, without taking anything away from like minorities, I equate it to having to deal with a microaggression. I will give you an example. For me, I am somebody that identifies as like unlabeled. Like I don't really pursue I don't date people. I don't have sex with people. So I guess I'm like asexual is what it's called. I don't talk about this a whole lot, but like that's kind of where I am. But because I grew up mostly around women and around gay people, um and just the way that I guess I'm a little flamboyant, the way that I speak, people when they first meet me, they just automatically assume that I am gay. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever because I mean like for me, I don't really identify either way. So it's like it's whatever to me. But when I remember going to like a pool party, for example, and we're all like we were playing Uno, everyone's having a great time, and I'm talking with someone and I'm with a guy and like just to make friends. That's what you do. You're making friends. And I remember being like, "Oh, we should trade Instagrams." And then gives me like a look and it's like, "Oh, I don't really know, like I don't really do that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, you're gay, right?" And then I was like, "No, no. I'm not about to sit here and explain my whole situation to people." But the second I said no, his attitude completely changed. He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." And then he starts asking questions or whatever. And then he offers to like trade Instagrams. And by that point, I don't even remember who this motherfucker was, and I moved on. But there have been lots of experiences in my life where stuff like that has happened just because of what people have assumed about me. Now imagine if you are Jason and you are a drag queen and you are living in, flamboyancy everywhere you go. Like you have to have your guard up. Your life can be endangered. There have definitely been moments where I have felt, threatened too, just for how I present myself. So when you're coming into a situation like this, where quite literally you are under threat every single day, your life's not in danger, but your big brother life is in danger. It's a little scary because you could be out the loop. I mean, even I remember, again, just a forewarning because Chantel hates whenever I do this, but this is a competition reality show. I went on a competition reality show, not the same as Big Brother, but now I have experienced similar to what these people are going through. And I have, my experience to go off of to empathize with it. But I even remember when going into Beast Games, I felt hesitant to talk about, any queer experience, anything about being Jewish, because I did not know what people were going to be in a Mr. Beast thing because of the Mr. Beast background, and there were so many people like that. So it's terrifying to think that your identity could be used against you um in here, in a game like that. So I felt horrible for Jason in this moment, and I thought Angela doing what she did was brilliant. And for anybody that wants to go on a Big Brother or a Survivor or Traders or whatever it is, look, there is no amount of strategy that I would say compares to doing what Angela did. For me, what made me so powerful in the Beast games was not strategy, but was being there for people at their lowest moments, like when someone wanted to quit or when someone was missing home. And Angela taking that moment to talk about her son and her son coming out postseason, which I think is amazing that her son came out when the show was over. I think that's great, and it makes total sense. Like Angela is the like, oh my god. If you know what the term F hag means, she is the definition of that. Um, and I thought it was an amazing thing to do. Anytime that you can make someone in this game where you're never safe, truly feel safe and feel heard, that is both being an amazing person, but it's also amazing strategy, because now you got Jason, who is out to get Rick Devens, and D, but maybe now Jason will protect Angela. Maybe now Angela's got, somebody watching out for her. So I thought it was an amazing moment between the two of them. It's something that I really love about Big Brother, when there's moments like that. And I thought it was the best move of the night, honestly. So anyways, long segment, but let's move on to let's see, did we have anyone else talking during the introductions? Um, Drew. Oh, okay, so it closed out with Lala once again putting her foot in her mouth. Lala, Lala, this whole episode just made me like her less and less. Every time she opened her mouth, I liked her less and less, and I wanted to like her. But Latrice, at the end of this fucking thing, says some shit like, oh, we're all friends right now, but we're about to cut people's heads and it's just getting started. I'm like, bitch, this is something you say in the confessional. You don't say it in front of the house. And before I could even vocalize that, Drew, in his confessional, says, what the fuck is Lala talking about? Like, that comment threw me off. My favorite thing about Big Brother and Survivor is whenever someone in the game literally says something that I'm already thinking in my head, and very few people have been able to do it. D is one of them, Drew is another one. I think back to Marianne on Survivor 42, but very rarely do people actually clock things the way that I do. And again, it reinforced in my mind that Drew is gonna be a force in this game. Drew has become so popular on Twitter, by the way. I always see people talking about Drew. Now, mind you, I do think that Twitter has a bit of a pattern of simping for any conventionally attractive in any type of way young white guy. It happens every fucking show. I mean, it happened with Rizzo last time, but I mean, again, with Rizzo and Drew, I don't mind because they're both okay. Well, I should probably clarify what I know with Drew, because I don't want to say I'm friends with somebody. I mean, with Rizzo, I'm friends with Rizzo. We went to college together. We chat. We've been chatting about Big Brother. But with Drew, I haven't spoken to Drew in like a year, and we were friends on the Beast games. We texted quite a bit on Instagram about my Survivor casting process. He was going to do one of my games, but then I do online reality games, but then I stopped doing it for like a year. And I, like, honestly, with Beast games with so many people, you lose touch with people, and he just stopped coming on my feed. But I think he's great, and my experience with him was great, so I would put him more in the term of like an acquaintance. But I'm excited to see an acquaintance of mine or someone I'm friendly with doing well on the show. So I'm going to put that in that terms. And the reason I clarify that, by the way, is because I see so many people on Twitter that are all claiming to be best buddies with Barrett because they played an org with him or they watched his podcast or whatever. And my thing is, I don't like people that like clout chase off of people that are on shows. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm best buddies with this motherfucker. I've known him my whole motherfucking life. Like, it's just, I do know him, and it does help me watching the show with my insights on him. And my favorite part of watching him so far is that he has so much game sense that I did not realize he had during the Beast games, because Beast games, he only lasted to the second episode before I lost him in the pool of 500 people. And I watched his ass like bawling when he was out. So now seeing him on this, it makes me really realize, wow, he really loves this game. He really loves, the strategy and competition of it. And it probably was heartbreaking losing a show like Big Brother and Survivor that maybe he never thought he would get on. So I really am happy seeing him do so well in here and the fans receiving him well. Anyways, so if you're a druther, hi. And also, whoever is running Drew's account on Instagram, if you're not following on there, go follow it. I love when people that are handling the Instagrams on the feed, because it actually did make me laugh quite a bit. Where's my screen share? Also, I know you can't see my face right now. I'm getting too lazy to switch it back. But look at this shit. Oh, it went away. Drew apology form. Need this filling out. Accepting apologies in my DMs. Like, that's very funny that to me, that's very funny that he is putting out the forms like that. So I think it's I think it's great. Whoever is running his account. So let's move on to the next part. How long am I in on this? I'm already 47 minutes on it, and we're not even 15 minutes into the episode. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. So we've got Tasha wants Kamu. Who the hell is Tasha? See, something I don't like with fucking autocorrect on here is that autocorrect on these names, there's such weird names here that autocorrect goes on everything. And I think it was for Taylor, which is not that weird of a name. Okay, so we've got the Have Not Room. Oh my god. The Have Not Room is fucking atrocious. I saw the Have Not Room on the live feeds, and I lost my mind. Y'all, I think this might be the worst Have Not Room ever. And mind you, there was a Have Not season where the beds had spikes on them. The reason this is the worst Have Not Room is because the bed is made of wood. So, all right, great. I'm going to get splinters on my ass while I'm trying to sleep in bed. But also, the shit is spinning. So I have to sleep on a spinning wheel of splinters and termites. Welcome to Big Brother. How horrible. Oh my god. And of course you got Rick Devens that's like, well, this is better than sleeping on Survivor. And it's like, well, I guess it is. Yeah. But instead of termites, you would get roaches or bugs and spiders on Survivor. This is not bamboo. But yeah, this room is horrible. And I remember watching it last night, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, absolutely no comfort. And you're going to wake up sick. You're going to, like, you better not eat before you go to bed, because you're going to be puking that. You're going to wake up and it's going to be next to you. And I will say again, going back to the whole, in my opinion, any reality show that you were on in the past gives you an edge on the next show you do. When we did Beast Games in not Amazon, but when we did that first episode, the qualifier in Allegiant Stadium, we had to sleep on the floor for, I think it was 4 or 5 days that we were stuck there in these uncomfortable army sleeping bags that I still have somewhere. They were itchy, and the lights never turned off, these stadium lights, and you were sleeping on these like olive pits on the ground. It was uncomfortable as shit. Drew was there for that. He made it through that whole part. So I'm thinking Drew was already has an edge over these other have-nots because he's already slept in a situation like this. This is actually probably better because at least the lights are turned off and they probably have comfortable pillows and blankets. So again, I think any competition show you've been on in the past gives you an edge, even if it's not competitive. I mean, even if it's not like Big Brother, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a horrible have-not room, and I'm curious if are they going to change any of these rooms? Like I know it's a time travel thing, but are all the rooms going to stay the same? Are they ever going to change? Because this room, I guess at first I thought it was like a caveman room, but I guess it's not. I guess it's more of a like a medieval torture room type of deal. Um, but I mean, close that out. I really love the theme this season. I think this theme is perfect because kind of like the multiverse theme they did back in 25, it allows so much creativity. Big Brother can literally do anything they want for a challenge, and it can tie to the theme. Oh, we're going to go to the caveman era and do a caveman style challenge. It's cool. And again, something I like about Big Brother is in these last couple seasons is they've actually been picking a theme and sticking with it. And to me, it's cool. But speaking of, the whole caveman thing, I felt like while watching the strategy of the red corner versus the survivor players, it was like watching a caveman's version of Big Brother strategy versus Albert Einstein's version of strategy. It was so guerrilla style, the way that like Kamu and now was it Yash or was it Chuck? I was in a bowl full of rice. So I thought it was Yash in this convo, but I think it was Chuck in this convo. And let me clarify too, when I'm saying guerrilla style, I mean like GUERILLA style, like guerrilla war tactics, uh, like not polished whatsoever. That's what I mean. Just wanted to clarify that. But it felt like guerrilla style Big Brother played. Like they were just basically like, oh, meathead, oh, meathead, meatheads work together. I also don't understand. This is not the first season someone has said this, but they were talking about whenever guys try to work together, their alliance gets blown up, and we got to change that. And there's been so many women that have won Big Brother the last couple of seasons. And every time I hear that, I'm like, recruit. Oh, this is a recruit right here. Oh, this is someone that's watched only like 2-3 seasons, or probably no seasons whatsoever. Because, y'all, how many times have the women tried working together and their alliance just does not work? Someone please tell me right now an all-women alliance that has actually worked and not been blown up. I will wait. Okay, the only alliance with all women that I can think of that did not blow up was the Ball Smashers on Over the Top. That lasted pretty much the whole way through. Other than that, the only other one I could think of is like the Friendship, but even the Friendship had Bo in there. So there has not, to my recollection, been an all-women's alliance that has dominated a season. There's been majority women alliances with some men in there, but no. And then we're talking about women winners. There have been 3 out of 4 women winners. But before that, it was man, 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 woman, man, man, woman. It took 18 seasons for a woman to beat a man in the final 2. Like, Big Brother statistically is not a game that is dominated by women, unfortunately. The last couple of seasons have kind of equalized things where now it's more of a level playing field. But it was just such a weird convo between Chuck and not Yash, Kamu. I keep wanting to call him Kamala. But I have to remember, no, he's a Kirk. He's a Charlie Kirk. He is Charlie Kirk. So, but here's my thing with Chuck. Because we got to talk about Chuck first. Chuck, you are the same dude that 2.2 seconds into the game was like, oh, I love women. I have all women at home. I have all sisters. I love women. I love women. And now it's like, oh, I want Haley in our alliance because I want her as the diversity hire. How ironic is that with MAGA Haley, that she's the diversity hire, so they have a woman in their alliance for optics. I didn't understand that. Like, it was so weird. And then so Chuck and Kamu, after sucking each other's dicks for a couple of minutes about how beefy they are, they bring in Haley, and they basically say to Haley, "Hey, we're gonna have an all guys alliance, but we need a woman so to get insight from the other side. Can you be that?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure. I'm a guy's girl. I'm a guy's girl. I don't do the catty stuff." I hate women like Haley. See, someone's gonna clip that and say I hate women. I hate women like Haley. Every single season, there is always one. And this season, it is Haley. These fucking women that talk about, oh, I'm rough and tumble, I'm a guy's girl. There's no such thing as a guy's girl. There's only such thing as a pick-me. And Haley is this season's pick-me. No wonder she bored the fuck out of me in her Big Brother Broveal video. And here's the thing. I don't think that Haley has made the wrong choice in allies. Kamu has a crush on her, so it makes total sense. These are your guys, probably gonna say some shit like cut from the same cloth, so go ahead, work together, whatever. I just don't, and it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea to have one person in the alliance that will be able to make inroads with people that the others cannot. But again, Dee and Rick are doing a much better version of that. Like, you can't just boil down everyone in the house to gender. Like, Haley is not going to be able to be friendly with every person there. And we also have to keep this in mind too. I don't think that this whole alliance that the Red Corner has concocted is based on anything more than who is the most conventionally attractive people in this game. Let's be real, y'all. They're bringing in Chuck and Kamu, the muscles. Then they're bringing in Haley, who, a pretty girl, conventionally pretty girl. And then they're bringing in Dee, who, in my opinion, Dee is like one of those beautiful people in there. So they want all the strong they want the conventionally attractive people that are physically the strongest. That's why Lyric is not in there. But honestly, Lyric and Rome should be in there because Lyric and Rome both did the best in these challenges. But yeah, instantly a chop. I had a feeling I wasn't gonna like Chuck. I don't like Chuck. I knew I didn't like Haley. I don't like Haley. And the second I heard that Kamu was Charlie Kirk, I was finished with him. So throughout this week, I was confusion because my good friend, thank you D&D, my good friend Sophie Bellardi and I were chatting it up. And when we found out that Dee won the HOH, she's talking about she's going to put up all the alpha males. And then lo and behold, she put up, like, the one alpha male was Yash. And then she put up Taylor and Mallory, the most expected nominees. And it looked like she was working with the MAGAs. And I was like, oh boy. Because for me, I already like Dee. She's a Survivor player. Barrett, she's your Survivor crush, my Survivor crush as well. I like her as a player, as a person. I feel like I would get along with her really great. And on top of that, my two friends from Survivor are both friends with her. So I feel like, okay, I want to root for her too. But I see she's working with MAGA people and I'm like, well, fuck her. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, is she one of the Latinas for Trump? Please no. Thankfully, she is not, and we see in this episode, and I found out later in the week, that it is a ploy. And to that I say bravo. I have been waiting for people to get with the program that the best way you can play this game is to have one person on one side of the house and the other on the other side of the house. And when you are Dee and Devins, it don't matter if you two worked together on the season or you did not work together on the season. Both of you know each other, spent a lot of time together, not just doing Survivor 50, but doing press for Survivor 50, going to the premiere for Survivor 50, going on all those, press junkets and the show and like the talk shows and all that stuff. Like, you guys spent an inordinate amount of time together, which I'm surprised more people are not clocking. So you have the perfect opportunity to deploy this strategy. It really is only a strategy you can do with someone you 100% trust. So why not do it? And D is doing it to perfection. When you've got people like, and it worked out for her because they went to her first, but when you've got people like Haley and Kamu and who's the other one? Chuck, who on paper, one of them is likely to win an HOH. More so because Chuck already won a challenge. So you might as well cover your bases. And the first week HOH is all about setting the tone for what this season is going to be. And Dee could have done a lot of things with his HOH. She could have just said, fuck it, I'm going to put the red corner on the block. Kamu, Haley, go up there and hopefully one of you gets sent home. She could have gone all in with them and, you know, given what they want, put Barrett on the block. She could have said, fuck it, I'm putting the icons on the block, Angela and Devins. But what I think Dee did that was extremely smart with her HOH, and why most first HOHs get far in the game, is she put up all of the people that she has no game relationship with. She did it in a way where there was no blood on her hands, no one could point fingers at her, and masterfully made nominations that would keep this fake alliance happy and the real alliance happy. And that is why my title of this podcast episode is This is Dee's Game, and we're all just living in it. It was a masterful gameplay by Dee in this episode and in this week so far. So, I mean, I've been talking for an hour at this point. John Zhao. I don't know. Oh, John Zhao. Nice to see your face again, by the way. You've watched me in the past. I don't know why, but I swear every time I see Haley, I instinctively call her Emily for some reason. That's because she's basic. She's forgettable. Like, the second I saw her Big Brother Broville video, there was nothing about her that stood out to me. Nothing. Nothing looks-wise, nothing talk-wise, nothing about her life. I don't know anything about her, and now I've consumed 3 whole episodes of her, and I could not tell you anything about this girl. Is she in her 20s? Is she in her 30s? I think she's in her 20s and she just looks like she's 50. Like the opposite J-Lo effect. I couldn't tell you anything about her other than there's allegations she's MAGA. So, anyways, oh, Dee gets advice from Angela. Once again, Dee and Angela. Angela is really showing up this season. I need everyone to really pay attention to her. Like, is Angela a character? Yes. Is Angela a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Yes. But Angela is showing right in this week that she's a different player, that she's coming into this with a whole new attitude. And the conversation she had with Dee is how you approach the game as a mom. You don't baby people and mother people, but Angela is presenting herself as like a pool of wisdom. And someone like Dee, who from her video she put on Instagram, has basically been thrusted into this game. She had no interest in playing Big Brother. She basically had to be convinced to come play, which is crazy. It shows how much they love Dee. She had to be convinced to come play. She just like binged it all before coming in here. Dee is trying to adjust to this competition and has Angela to help her through it. So now, what could have easily just been, you know, like a loose alliance, like the vets on previous seasons have been, Angela has established a real connection with Dee and therefore with Rick Devens. And I do think that it'll come to a point where Angela is not the priority to knock out between the two. Even though as of right now, it does sound like Angela is the priority for people just because she's a BB alum. But Angela had great insight, and that convo with Dee was so powerful, man. Like, whew, it was really good. All right, so Angela talks with Dee, gives her the, you know, the thing. Dee and Rick Devens talk about their history together. This was like a conversation that happened multiple times. Again, I could kind of tell that Big Brother is still trying to figure out how to navigate 90-minute episodes, because there was a lot of repeats in this episode, like moments that did not need to be shown. We already know that Rick and Dee have a rocky relationship, quote unquote. But they think they need to work together. Like, we only need to see this once, but basically they just confirm, hey, we're good together, we'll work together, and then they lay out this masterful plan. And the plan is that they can already tell where the lines are being drawn. Rick can go to the people that are trying to find a home, and Dee can go to the people that think that they are in power. That is the way to do this. Because inherently at the start of Big Brother, there is going to be people that gravitate to each other and lock in immediately. And then you're going to have people that are still figuring out the game. And to me, people figuring out the game are the girls like Melody and Lyric and Mallory, who I labeled them the three basic bitches. Like, they all, they had a segment in the episode talking about how much they loved each other. Remember in BB18, again referencing that season, remember the spy girls with Bronte and Bridget and Natalie? It kind of gives me that. So it's like Rick can try to bond with those people. And Rick, Rick is a little older, he's a little goofy, like, he can fit in with the Barretts and the Lalas and the Mallorys. Dee is a conventionally attractive, athletic woman, powerful, HOH. She can go for the people that, feel a little more in power. Like, they got the muscles, they got immunity, or they have the alliances already. It's a perfect strategy. And again, it's a more sophisticated level of Big Brother than what the red corner MAGA people are doing. So, also a moment I loved is when they brought up Angela. And did y'all see when they went to Angela, she went, ah! One thing I love about Big Brother is that they're so locked in on the humor of their show. And they throw in those little moments when they're like cutting to people that could be so nonchalant, like nothing. And they make it moments that make me giggle. And I love Big Brother. So I talked about the caveman strategy of the red corner and the diversity hire of Haley. I talked about Dee and Devins, Lyric, Melody, and Mallory, the basic girl alliance. Also, I hate that there is a Mallory and a Melody. And what I hate even more is that one is just a nerd version of the other. Melody and Mallory do not look different enough to me where they can have names like that. I'm trying to think. At least if like Ashley from last season was in this season with this Ashley, the only thing they have in common is that both of them are young and like Valley Girl-esque, but they look completely different. But it's like you got two bitches with basically the same name, and it's like when I have to think about who's who, like on the feeds they're talking about using Melody as a number, and I'm thinking of Mallory, and I'm like, no, that's the glasses girl. Like, Melody's the one that handles corporate bonding games and labels herself as a game show host. So they have the basic bitches alliance. Oh my god, Lyric and Rome. Okay. Hi, Faux Honey. Do you feel too many promises were made? Dee has trust so many people for this not to crack. No. And here's why. Dee is the first HOH, and when you're the first HOH, or whenever you're HOH, period. Also, if you ever have any questions, y'all, put it in the chat, and I will read them. Okay, I promise. I may be a little delayed because I have other things on my screen, but I promise I'll read them. I love your questions. I feel that you can never have too many allies in the game. It's just, if you're going to have allies, the more allies you have, the better you have to be at managing your promises. Like for me, when I was doing Beast Games, I had friendships with literally hundreds of people. There was hundreds of people in the game, so naturally I bounced to hundreds of people because that's all there was to do, was to talk to people. My little group got mad at me about that. Fuck them. But it's like I never promised people I'm taking you to the final two, or I'll protect you in the game, but I did things to like build bonds with them, or I said I'll watch out for you, or things like that. And it worked because I was never really in a position where I had to make a choice. It's just I always kept things up to benefit me. Like I remember one game I was in, a girl across from me I didn't even think really liked me, but I spent time, making a friendship with her. And then when we were in this challenge where we had to build blocks, I was fucking up. I didn't know the design. She finished her design of this tower that couldn't fall in like 2 seconds. So I was able to ask her for help. And even though, we had only, become somewhat friendly, she literally guided me step by step to build this tower. And if I didn't get her help, I wouldn't have made it through that game. And mind you, I'd never even really worked with her in a game after that. So with D is going to be in a spot next week where she has no power. She can't be HOH, so she can't put anyone on the block. She probably won't play in veto if she's not on the block. So the only decision she's going to have is to do a vote. And if as long as D doesn't win any more challenges for the future, in a game like Big Brother, you can make lots of promises without ever having to show your hand. It's why Big Brother is such a hard game, because you don't really see where people's heads are unless they win a challenge and they get power. So I think that D made just enough promises. I mean, as for now, she has the 3 in the 3 in the red corner, and then the 4 on the crossover, and then she has a bunch of people in the middle, and it left her just enough choices where the veto is 1, spoiler alert, and she has someone that she can replace. So I actually think that D made just enough promises and is a smart enough player that she's going to be able to manage it. And luckily, too, I think the red corner, her fake alliance, has put enough of a target on her back that if they don't win HOH, one is naturally going to go, and I think that they'll be on the block together. So it's not like she's going to have to make a choice. So I think that D, is in a perfect spot. I don't think she made too many promises, but I think a player like Frenchie, for example, who did do that, a bad player wouldn't be able to do what she's doing. You'd have to be a great player like she is. Yeah. For those of y'all that watched the first 2 episodes of this season and thought I was just going to be a hater the whole way through and not talk strategy, we talk strategy here over Slightly Bitter, okay? We only slightly bitter, but we also slightly strategic, okay? Anyways, Rome and Lyric Showmance. Oh my god. At first, I didn't mind it. But then when the announcer said it's day 2, I'm like, you bitches are sucking face day 2? And I saw some shit on the feeds that Lyric was talking about she wants to fuck. You known this man for less than a week, and you're trying to fuck him on national TV? It's different from Love Island. Love Island, that show is all about sucking and fucking, but they don't show you having sex. Big Brother, there is footage from years ago, from Big Brother 10, that's softcore porn of April and Ollie having sex in the HOH room. Or it might not even been the HOH room. It might have been a community bedroom. And you're talking about fucking? I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought we have a little more class than that, Rome. Jack. Maybe has he, let me ask you, has he allowed Lyric to call him Jack yet? Has he given her that that honor like he said he would? Maybe he said, oh, you can call me Jack while you're jacking me off. Like it was one thing if they had the HOH room to themselves. It'd be another thing if no one was in the room. But my thing with this whole encounter of them, okay, they're trying to not look obvious. You're in a house with a bunch of people. There's so many people. It's going to be obvious. You're not going to be able to hide it if you're flirting with each other the way they do. But these two are sitting in the fucking bunk beds and they're sucking face loudly. And you got people under you trying to sleep. You got people in the bunk across from you that can see you clear as day. And first addressing the strategic ramifications of it. Okay, you're a duo. That's it. Done. Doesn't matter how many times you guys pretend not to look at each other or change rooms. Y'all are together. It's so obvious now. But number 2, I think just from an etiquette level, once again bringing up my experience, I remember in the Beast Games, in Allegiant Stadium. I don't know who these two individuals were. They were disgusting. They took it upon themselves to fuck under. There was a toilet. I'm not joking. It was a toilet that was designed to look like a big torch. It was a big platform. It was wooden, like a parade float, and on it there was a porta potty that was designed to look like the base of a torch, and then on top of that, it was a lit torch. These people in a stadium of hundreds. Actually, no, it was over 1,000 of us because this was only, I think, the second day. Over 1,000 people in the with these bright stadium lights. These two went under the thing, hoping no one would see them or hear them, and they were fucking. And apparently, they conceived a child during the Beast Games, and they gave birth 9 months later. Ain't that some crazy shit that never got talked about? That was a whole nother deal, y'all. The Beast Games. This was before they, put standards in. But it's like, they did this like not that far away from me, where I was sleeping and people were sleeping. That was uncomfortable. And we didn't even see it. So I can't imagine only 2 days into this shit, you are sucking face loudly and probably fondling each other. Let's be real. They were not going to show that on the show, but they probably were touching each other's dicks and clits. Like, come on now. You're telling me they were not. I understand. Like I said earlier in this podcast, I get it. You were locked in a room for probably like 2 weeks, horny as shit, and now you're in here with someone you probably would only dream to see on Bumble or Hinge or whatever you use. I totally get it because they're both really hot, but it's like, come on now, where's the decorum? And I gotta tell you, Yash's reaction, I would have reacted the same way. It's uncomfortable. Why? Like, there's nothing wrong with PDA, but it's like, baby, we're trying to sleep. We don't even really know each other. I don't know you like that. I don't want to be in a room with you when you're getting it on. I had a roommate, y'all, when I was in college, and this motherfucker thought I was sleeping, and he brought his girlfriend in to give her a massage, and you can't tell me they weren't about to fuck. And it's like, I had to get up and leave. I was uncomfortable. Like, you don't do that. You don't get intimate with someone in that fashion, like around other people. You don't. It's really rude. On top of being gross, it's really rude. Forget about the cameras or anything. That's just my opinion. But hey, I still do like both of them. I do think they'll both be good competitors, but they are definitely screwing the pooch here. They need to go over to Love Island. Let me check if anyone said, "Hey Jenna, I would grab a chair and snacks, see how long they could continue while I said." Oh, Jenna, I love you so much. You should come on sometime and come chat with me. I would be Faux Honey says, I would be pissed if I was in the bunk next to them. People have been targeted for a shower. That's true. I would be like, put these two on the block, but you can't because Rome won immunity. Who's to say that maybe they wouldn't have gone on the block this week? But it's just, I don't know. It's just gross to do that. And when you get hot and sweaty with people, like, you start to stink, and you can't tell me that they weren't stinking. Okay? Anyways. So this leads Yash to go gossip about them to, I think it was the girls. At this point, I had to go up and take a shit. Sorry for the vulgarity, but I had to take a shit, so I didn't see what was going on. I came back, and then the icons start bringing in, all right, so this is our core 3. Now it's time to form the real alliance. We're going to bring in Drew and Barrett. Smartest move they could have made. Super smart. Barrett is in love with Angela. He's also in love with Dee. I don't know if any of y'all saw this. And again, sometimes with the live feed updates, people say shit that's not even real. This is why I am so mad that they got rid of the rewind feature for the live feeds, because now I can't even fact check the shit I read. But I saw something about Barrett saying something like to Dee, I would die for you. And then Dee said, would you live for me? And he said, I already do. I don't know if that's real, probably not real, but it's like he is in love with those two ladies. And then Drew is like a mega fan. I already saw him in like the premiere talking to Rick Devens. So it was a very savvy decision to bring those two in. Very safe. If you're the icons, you bring in the super fans. And at the same time, Barrett and Drew are clearly the most knowledgeable newbies. It's not even close. Watching the way the rest of the newbies are playing, it's very obvious they are at a lower caliber of gameplay. Even the red corner, who, if the icons weren't in here, the red corner would probably be in charge right now. But they're at a low level. I would say maybe Jason has some type of game sense, but so far I haven't really seen it from him. Maybe Lala, when Angela goes, will show some game sense, but it's like Drew and Barrett clearly are the most knowledgeable. So it was a great choice to bring them in, on top of the fact that I'm rooting for Drew. I gotta say, I was very relieved watching this whole episode, because after watching the premiere, I was terrified that Drew was going to be a first boot. I was terrified that Drew was going to be a target and get knocked out early. And he's really establishing himself as a great player socially. He's getting in with everybody. He's in this power alliance, the strongest group that's trustworthy. I'm very happy for him. It's I love when people I know get on these shows and I can root for them. I remember years ago, 2 or 3 people I knew got on shows and they were all terrible. So I am very happy for him that he's doing a great job. What I'm hoping though is that Drew and Barrett don't get blinded by working with Survivor Big Brother icons, and they do play. I'm reading my little group chat with some of my friends, and one of my friends just said, "Oh, guys, did you know?" And it's the thing I already said, that Lyric was apparently begging Rome to have sex. Y'all, you don't do that, man. I don't care how horny you are. You don't beg for sex on national TV, because then you just look thirsty. But one more thing I'll throw in. I am so curious if Drew has mentioned that he did Beast Games. To me, if I ever did another show, I would not mention it. But in this situation, if he was to mention that he did Beast Games, I feel like it would just be like a solidify thing that these people should work with you. Because in my eyes, we've got 6 people on here from reality shows. We got the 2 Survivors, Big Brother player, Beast Games player, RuPaul Drag Race, and American Idol. So having Drew in there, he can be like, well, I was on the Beast Games, and I don't feel like it makes him a threat, because he didn't do good, and it's a secret you're sharing with people, and it can make them trust you a little bit more. So I am curious if he mentioned that he did the Beast Games. I feel like, especially with Rick having did a Beast Games twist, and him saying on Survivor he was a Beast Games fan, like, just like how I think mentioning you did Drag Race would give you more things to talk about, him mentioning he did Beast Games would give him more to talk about. But I do kind of get it, because if that was to get out, I could see it putting a target on him. And from the looks of it, he didn't need to mention he did Beast Games. He did more than enough to, mention that, to get himself ingratiated in that alliance. Hi, Wood 2099. Red Bar is watching. Well, thank you, Red Bar, for watching. I appreciate you. Anyways, what's next? So we have Barrett. So we have the crossovers. I'm gonna try to get this done by the 90-minute mark. D lets Barrett know. Oh, so the red corner. Such a stupid name. My God, you can't tell me there's no MAGA implications there. I get that it's supposed to be like an MMA reference or a UFC reference or a you fucking cunt reference, but it's like, I did not need to know that. It's so MAGA coded. But they were trying to get Barrett up. They wanted all girls, but if we can't put all girls, do 2 girls and put Barrett up. And D warns Barrett. Now, again, like, what's her name? Faux Honey was saying earlier, is D, making too many promises? This is an example of why D is a savvy enough player that she's not making too many promises. This is how you manage your promises. You've got your main alliance and you're letting them know what's going on. So they will never be insecure that you have this fake alliance going on. I don't think D wanted them to know, but if it ever came out, it's like, D is giving you the information, so you know that she is with you. So it was a good move on D's part. And I even wrote D is playing this so good. So they mention one person from each group. So then D mentions that what her plan is for this nomination is to put up one person from each group. And I think that's a smart way to play it. Only because when you're the first HOH, you don't have a lot to go off of. The only thing you really can go off of is who's talking game with you. And even going off of that, it can still come off, personal. Like any way that as the first HOH or as HOH period, you can take the responsibility off your hands without looking like you're trying to, be a people pleaser and play all sides. You should do it. And for D, I saw these nominations, they made no sense. But now after watching the episode, it makes total sense to me. Where the controversy arose was, well, you can't put up someone from your own team. So D at this point had not decided who she was going to put up, but we go later into the episode. I'm just going to skip to it. It becomes really clear after having a really awkward conversation with Mallory, which we'll have to return to that. That's its own thing to talk about. But she had a bad convo with Mallory, put Mallory up. Taylor has had no talk with D, and I'm starting to think this is all Taylor's fault because first Rick you're having a problem with, now D you have no relationship with. I don't understand not talking at all with the HOH. It's, maybe because you don't want to look like you're fake, but literally D entered the house and became HOH. So there was no time for you to establish a friendship. That's why I actually don't even really mind D winning the HOH because she had such a disadvantage having no game talk. Rachel had the fake game talk instead, which they're all talking about. And then she says Yash as the last choice. So the red corner wants up all girls, and at first they had pitched, I think it was Lyric, Mallory, and Melody. D gets them off Lyric, like, oh, we could put her up anytime, which again, smart, because you're keeping the showmance in the game. When you're a player like D that's a survivor winner, you want as many targets in the game as possible. Melody at this point, I don't think it was shown on the show, but Melody has like a relationship building with Drew. So they're like, okay, let's have Melody here as like a by proxy thing, which I get. And D explains to the red corner what her plan is, and she's decided it's going to be Mallory, Taylor, Yash, one from each group. And Kamu is like, I don't think that's a good idea because Yash is on your own team. And listen, I understand what he's saying. Like, oh, you don't want to put up someone from your own team, like they helped you win the HOH. But my thing with that is, first of all, I kind of blinked out at the start of the episode because I was out eating, but just like I'm eating now with this podcast. But weren't the teams random? It was what? It was excuse me. It was just based on what time zone they were, whatchamacallit, not time zone, whatever time they traveled to. So it's like the people that played in the 80s challenge went with Angela, the people that did the Survivor thing went with Rick, and then the people that did the Vegas thing went with D. So it's not like D picked this. It's not like this was season 18, going back to that one. It's not like this is season 18 where D picked her team. Like, they worked together for that one challenge for however long that challenge lasted. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a long challenge and they probably just made it look shorter on the show, but it's like D doesn't owe anything to these people. And guess what? If Yash didn't talk to her at all and there was no deal made for them to be safe, why does she need to keep him safe? What does that do? And Yash said some shit about that in the confessional that I'm sure was scripted, but yeah, if D was not a savvy player and have the background she did, I could totally see an HOH falling for this. When you're an HOH, you should never let someone run your game. You should let people think they are, but never let someone run their game. And that's what I love about D this whole week. She has not let people run her HOH. She's letting them think they are, to the point where even feedsters think that they are, but she's holding her ground. What's odd to me is that Kamu is like, even in his confessional, saying, no, he's watching out for her. And D is taking this as, you have an agenda that you're pushing. they're showing me who they're trying to protect. And while that is true, I actually do think that, Kamu is more so looking out for her than trying to. I'm sure that they don't have a real game relationship with Barrett, but I think that they're just looking out for D, which again, good for D, shows how good she's doing at this game. So they're like, okay, Barrett didn't compete. My thing is, okay, why are you not bringing up Ashley? But you know what? Maybe it's because Ashley would be a third girl, and D is right. It's one thing if you have two nominees and you're putting up two girls or two guys. But when you have three nominees and you're starting this season off by putting three girls on the block or three guys on the block, you're sending a pretty clear message that you're going after men or you're going after women, even if that's not what you're intending. So I thought that Dee's plan was the best thing to do. You pick three people, one from each team that you are not close with, you have no game with, and if they're pissed, that's their fault. Why the hell are you not talking game with the HOH? So she handled it perfectly, and they all were like, all right, and they agreed to it. So then we got America's vote. So throughout the season, America's voting for, I don't even know what it was. It was like, what was it called? The time capsule? Was that what it was? And people are on Twitter. This shows how much how much these fans actually listen and pay attention to the show. Vote for Ashley. She's going to be the renom target. Y'all, whatever, if Ashley gets evicted, she's not going to be here to claim it because this doesn't come into effect until next week. Watch the show, dummies. I say vote for whoever you like, or vote. If you want the red corner to dominate, vote for one of them. If you want the icons to dominate, vote for them. If you want the super fans to dominate, vote for them. If you want someone random to win it, go vote for Ashley or Lala. But if you want an underdog, vote for Mallory. Like, that should be the way you go, because it's with Big Brother, unless they keep the voting. I don't remember if they said they're going to keep the voting open until Sunday, or whenever they give the power out, but most likely we're not going to know the power structure of the week when we're giving this power out. It all depends on who wins the HOH, because if a red corner wins the HOH, then someone on the bottom's going. If one of the icons win, it's probably a red corner, but it's probably going to be a middle person going. If it's someone on the bottom, then maybe an icon is going or a red corner is going. So it's like, we don't know, and we also don't know what this power is. So calm down. So, the red corner, Rick Devens fucks up royally. And this is why we love you, Devens, but you're not that great a player. I never thought Rick was a great player to begin with. I thought he was annoying, actually, when I first saw him on Survivor. But to me, he's a great character. But he spills the beans about the Red Corner Alliance to Angela, and Angela is not happy. And the reason she's not happy actually makes total sense to me. She's not happy because, so they wanted to bring the icons in because they're strong players, but they didn't want to bring me in? I'd be like, yeah, what the fuck? Why are you guys bringing in the strong players, the icons, but not me? Am I not good enough? Am I not, like, strong? Like, what the fuck you? That would be my thought. So I thought Angela had every right to be pissed about it. And then Drew comes up, and then Rick tells Drew, and Dee gets pissed. She's like, why did you do that? Why didn't you tell me? And here's my thing. I actually think this was the right move to make. Unless you are trying to, be loyal to both groups, I don't see why you wouldn't tell your alliance. Because here's the thing, Dee. More than likely, if at some point, if this is not your real alliance, then this alliance is going to blow up. Either one of you is going to have to vote them off, or they're going to go on the block, or something is going to happen. There's no way, it's very unlikely that this alliance is going to get all the way through without it being figured out. And people were already tying D to them anyway. So if you're really aligned with Drew and Barrett, then they should know that you're, with that side, but it's only a fake alliance, and you're giving them information, so it shouldn't matter. Um, to me, it's just the more secrets you have to hold, the worse game you're playing, in my opinion. If you don't hide, if you play the game not having to lie or not having to keep secrets, like the game becomes so much easier for you. Like, in my opinion, in Big Brother or Survivor, you should only have to lie when it's absolutely necessary. And lying about making a fake alliance with the red corner is not necessary. You're the first HOH. All they needed to say was, oh, they made an alliance with us because they're trying to keep themselves safe. I'm just, using it for information. And I don't think that Drew or Barrett would have looked the other way. They're not stupid. These are not stupid players on here. Barrett is basically in love with you, and then Drew is a super fan. So it didn't make sense to me why Dee was so bent out of shape about it, except for the fact that Rick did this without telling Dee. To me, it is like you're throwing her under the bus. I think that if they were going to tell them about the red corner, it should have been Dee and Rick in this alliance meeting. They should have both been like, okay, we're going to tell them, and they should have talked about it as a group. It shouldn't have been a one-on-one thing with Angela, or it shouldn't have been a one-on-one thing with Drew and Barrett. Or if you were only going to tell some, you should have only told Angela. You shouldn't have also told Drew, because you're supposed to be the reality icons, the three. So like, in my opinion, it's not a fuck up to tell them about the red corner, but the way that Rick did it was not the right way to do it. And if I was Dee, I would be side-eyeing him. And I'm gonna tell you, I think Dee is doing a better job position-wise, where Dee could be in a spot where she could just let Rick go, and I think she'll be okay. But that was interesting. That was the one move of the night that made me, look twice at Rick. So the last couple of things in this episode was, I already talked about all of it. So the only thing that happened before the nominations, there might have been something else that I didn't write down, but the only other thing that happened before nominations was Mallory. We gotta talk about Mallory. So Mallory confuses me because she, in her Instagram, looks nothing like the person that she's trying to be on the show. But when I watched her in the episode, I was like, no, she's like how she presents. Maybe she just doesn't dress that way. But because I mean, a lot of the pictures on her page are her partying or her going to the beach. Who the fuck is wearing glasses to go partying or go to the beach? You know what I mean? But Mallory gives me the vibe that she is somebody that is book smart, not street smart. And I know a lot of people like that. They're very nice, they're cool, but just no street smarts. And in Big Brother, book smarts can only get you so far. And same thing within life in general. It makes sense to me that she just works in rocket science, because in that you don't really need people skills. You can just do the science and it speaks for itself. But she was she perfectly laid out everything you don't do when trying to get yourself off the block. When you're talking to an HOH, especially the first week, they have the power and you need something from them. You need them to keep you safe. And the last thing you should do is spend the whole conversation talking about yourself. In these games, it's all about how you handle people. And nobody, especially someone that doesn't know you, nobody wants to sit there listening to you about your friends or your like random stories. Like, I couldn't even remember anything she talked about, because to me it was all nonsense, and it looks like she was talking to her for hours. Especially with someone like Dee, but anyone in general, you just need to be real. We're all of you signed up for a game, and even if some of you are recruits, you all know what you're doing. And when you're coming up to the HOH, it's better to just shoot the shit. Like, look, we haven't talked a whole lot. I don't know where I stand with you. I would like to not go on the block this week. What do you need from me to not go on the block? And I guarantee you, if Mallory had just did something like that, she might not have gone on the block. She very well might have anyway, but maybe Ashley would have went up instead. Like, we don't know. It's Mallory just, I mean, Mallory's apparently pretty close with Angela, so maybe she wouldn't have gone up. Mallory just like handled everything the wrong way. Like, if you're not going to talk game to start, I get that not everyone wants to start talking game, or maybe you feel like it's a little weird to immediately jump into the game. Like, I understand that because some people don't want to just talk game immediately, but if you're not going to talk game, break the ice by asking D. You're coming to her. You're starting the conversation. If D was coming to you, then yeah, talk about yourself. But when you're going to the HOH or you're going to another player, you should be asking them the questions. Hey, I would love to get to know you. Oh, well, then here's all about me. No. Hey, I would love to get to know you. What do you do for work? Basic. What was your experience on Survivor? Basic. Um, what made you want to do the show? Basic. And then from there, you can dive deeper. If that person says, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, what kind of business do you do? Like, you ask questions, you get a conversation going. That's how you establish rapport with somebody. And that's not even big brother skills, that's life skills. And I can tell with Mallory that she just is lacking that a bit. She's lacking that social tact that is needed in this game more than any level of strategy. So it was not surprising when I saw her ass go on the block. So, spoiler alert, she won the veto. So I'm hoping that Mallory can get her shit together and maybe take a note from Angela and listen more than you speak. 90% of the game should be you listening to other people. 10% is you talking about you. I mean, again, when I got to know so many people in the game, I'm a talker. I just spent the last 90 plus minutes talking about Big Brother by myself to a camera. But I listened to people and heard their stories and gave, did active listening and participated and wanted to know more about them way more than, giving stuff up about myself. And, it worked. So, and not to say you shouldn't talk about yourself. You should make yourself, you should share who you are and be vulnerable with people. But yet Mallory just like, it was very, it was very telling that one person had one Survivor, a social experiment, and one person was brand new to it. And again, it's why mixed seasons, even with people not from Big Brother, are difficult because you get such a stark difference in level of gameplay. So we wrap this up with the nominations, and Dee goes through with her plan. She puts up one person from each group. Yash, Taylor, Mallory, solid nominations. She gets a little emotional for some reason. And, that's the episode. So we are an hour 42. God, I've been talking so fucking long. But before I wrap this up, let's talk about some of the things going on in the house. So I talked about the Taylor IEP thing. If you weren't here for it, go to the beginning of the episode. But I have worked with kids with an IEP. I think Taylor brought that up because she is a school counselor and likely tons of students have them. I need to hear the whole conversation to determine whether it is an ableist thing, but IEPs are not only for kids with disabilities. IEPs are not only for kids on the spectrum. It can go for kids with ADHD, it can go with behavioral disorders. It can even go for kids that are just, getting in trouble. Like I had one child that I was tutoring that he doesn't have anything, but he had an IEP. And it just detailed all of like he had anger problems more than anything else. But typically it is for children, that it's an individualized education plan, so typically it is for children with like learning disorders or things like that. So, but I mean, her comment was something like, oh, I've never met someone like Ashley that didn't have an IEP, which is like a little weird to say. And another example of why when you're on Big Brother with a camera in your face, you need to be mindful of everything that you say, because you're in a space where things can and will be taken out of context, and it can offend people, and it can be taken in ways you don't anticipate it to be. So that's that on that. If you did not know, as of right now, spoiler alert, the nominees are going to be shaken up. Mallory won the power of veto. She's going to use it on herself, and likely Ashley will be taking the place. The target has, I've heard conflicting arguments. Some say Taylor's going to be the target. Some say that Ashley will be the target. Some say Yash will be the target. One thing I like with the blockbuster is that you really never know, because guaranteed there are two possibilities for eviction, because no matter the outcome, let's say Ashley was the target, Ashley could go home if Taylor or Yash win, but if Ashley wins, then it has to be Taylor or Yash. So we really don't know. Anyone could go home. That's the one thing I do like about the blockbuster. But from what I've read, it looks like if Yash is on the block, they're going to take a shot at him, and it makes sense to me. He's a strong guy, and if he's not in the red corner and doesn't seem like he's in any groups, then it makes sense for him to go. Um I mean, Taylor was the only one thirsting after him, so like and she's on the block against him, so and Taylor, it seems to be that she's getting in good with people. However, it looks like she got into an argument earlier with, I think, Chuck or Haley or one of them, because they misheard her saying something about Angela. Or was it Lala? I don't know. But Ashley then, so I didn't see anything about Ashley going home, but people were saying she was the target, so I'm not sure. I need to watch the next episode to really, figure this out. With live feeds, they're on YouTube now, which I love. But with live feeds, it's so much easier for me to just check in on, the updates. But maybe now I will start, at work, maybe I'll just leave them going on in the background while I'm doing work, so I can keep really up to date. But Big Brother is a full-time job, y'all. It's difficult keeping up with these feeds. Melody was a consideration for nomination, but because of her connection to Drew, they're leaving her off the block, is what it sounds like. But she has been paired up with Mallory, and ever since Mallory was put on the block, she's been trying to separate herself. Stupid. Your early stages of the game, you don't have any solid alliance. Why the hell are you pushing away one of your only friends? And I hate when people do this. I hate when people distance themselves from someone just because they're going on the block. I have experienced it myself, where people distance themselves from me because they thought it was a good game move. It's like, it is never good to distance yourself from somebody. It is never good to, push someone to the side. Like, you're being an asshole by doing that, and you're putting your own, you're ruining your own relationships, and people clock that. And it seems people are starting to clock that with Melody, and it turned quite a few people off that she did that to Mallory. It just don't make sense to me. It's not like you're in a big alliance and have people to rely on, but again, not a lot of game savvy people in here. And I didn't expect it. And then we went over Dee's video. So to wrap this up, I want to go through what alliances we have. And I'm going to share my screen, and I want to thank, let me make sure that this is the one I want to use. I want to thank Rome's Beta and Submissive. I forgot he said that. That is ridiculous. I want to thank Rome's Beta and Submissive updates on Twitter for making this alliance chart that I am about to show to all of you. So just give me a quick second to put that on the screen. All right, and now I just need to deactivate this and reactivate this, and then we will be all set to go. By the way, thank you to everyone that has been watching me throughout this whole thing. I have a lot of competition out here. We have Rob as a podcast. We have I think GameBots is what Morgan and Corey are calling themselves. So there's a lot of people that you could be watching, and you're watching me. I appreciate you. And then for all of you that are watching, later on the day after, thank you as well. So let's go over this alliance chart, shall we? So in this alliance chart made by @BillyBiggs_, thank you, here are our alliances. So the red is fake allies, black is alliance, real allies is green, and then a potential showmance is the heart. So looking at this, I didn't even know some of these existed. We've got Mama's Angels with Lala, Rome, and Jason. So Lyric is not in this, but she's working with them. Okay. Then we've got the red corner, the MAGAs as I like to call them. Then we've got the crossovers, which ironically cross over with the red corner. The Powder Puff Girls. The Powder Puff Girls. Are they just basically, they're call them the white girls. Okay, so Lyric is not in the basic bitches alliance. Uh, Haley has taken her spot. So this is and it's all in red, so it's fake allies. That makes sense to me. Because Haley had already said her dumbass strategy was going to be to get in with the girls and feed back all the info. So I'm imagining she's feeding info back to these two jokers. It's just you're picking Ashley and Melody, who I don't think have a lot of game to begin with. It's like, wow, great people to try and get in with. I think the strategy is probably more on this side with the Taylors, Lyrics, and Lala's. And like I was saying, how I think Yash will be the one to go home. Look who's not in any alliance. There are no greens going over to Yash. Rome, fake alliance. Jason, fake. Taylor, fake. D, fake. How the hell is D a fake ally? You're on the block because of her. And then Kamu, fake. So all of these people are not even aligned with him. At the very least, Ashley has Melody. And then Haley's using her. At the very least, Taylor has all of these great relationships with Mallory, Lyric, and Jason, more than likely, and Lala. So realistically, this part of the house right here, the Mama's Angels plus the Showmance, are probably saving Taylor. So that's why again I say I think if anyone's going home, I think it's going to be Yash. Maybe if Yash wins it, I think Ashley's going to go home. That's just what I think from looking at this chart, from what I've seen throughout the season and this episode. So then we've got potential showmances. Lyric and Rome, we already know they want to fuck desperately. Haley and Kamu, the gross mans of the season. Melody and Drew, I really want to know if this is going to be a thing. I feel like this could be a bad thing for Drew. Drew doesn't need to be getting into a showmance with this chick. And then this is the craziest thing to me, and I put this in the thumbnail. D and Barrett. What's funny is I could totally see D going for like a kind of guy like Barrett. And it's so funny because Barrett, going into this, everyone was calling him gay and the trade. And this dude is like having more allegations for showmances than anyone. People are putting him with Ashley. They're putting him with I think they were saying he would go with Lyric for a little bit, and now he's with D. This is just the funniest shit to me. And look at how he's in the middle of all this shit. Good for you, Barrett. So I want to. So I'm curious how the lines will draw as we go further in the game. If it'll stay fluid, or if things will get a little bit more locked in. Because it looks like right now, the red corner is in charge because the crossovers can't really go after them, and then Mama's Angels is the other side of the house. I'm not gonna lie. I think I would root for Mama's Angels. I don't like the red corner. I want them to go. And D and Rick, I don't want them to be. I'm not really here for Ashley or Melody either. So yeah, I mean, this is the breakdown. Let me know what y'all think about this breakdown. I think Yash is done, and this is a mess. And thank you to Billy Biggs. Go follow this guy. I don't steal tweets, but look at me. I'm not even following him. But actually, here, I'm gonna give you a follow, sir. Thank you, Billy Biggs, for your service. So, oh, here, I gotta close this. But so that is that in the books. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna end this by doing a tier list. Okay, so let's do a tier list of this episode. I'm gonna do a mixture. This is gonna be a mixture of power ranking as well as if I enjoyed their performance in this episode tonight. So we've got top tier, we've got good job, we've got meh, we've got could have been better, and we've got dog duty. So let's start off with Angela, top tier. This was a great episode from Angela. Angela doesn't need to be cursing at people or calling them crazy eyes to be entertaining. I loved her dynamic with Jason, her dynamic with D, even the little reaction shots they're cutting to her going, ah! I loved Angela coming into this. She's one of my favorite people from the new era of Big Brother. And I think that she's playing a great game and in a great spot right now. Ashley, I don't even really remember Ashley in this episode. I'm going to put her in meh only because Uh, though, oh, she did have a funny moment with the I haven't eaten a burger before. She didn't do bad. She didn't do good. She didn't go on the block in this episode. So I'm gonna call her meh. Chuck, dog duty. I don't like Chuck's rationale for who he's aligning with. I don't like his strategy. I don't think his strategy is even good. I think there's a shot that he will go on the block and go home next week. His confessionals are not entertaining. His whole shtick is he lives with women, but now you're doing a diversity hire women thing. And what's weird is they said they wanted all guys, but your alliance is like half guy, half girl. I don't get I don't understand his strategy or their strategy. And I don't roll with the MAGAs. I'll roll with the LGBT, like the cupcake song, but I don't roll with the MAGAs. I also think it was very obvious his shtick was supposed to be that he's a black cowboy, but he's not given any of the yeehaw that I would like, which is very ironic because I already know that that's probably what they were going for, giving him the cowboy hat and all that stuff. Um, the same way that they had Asian James on BB 17 and 18, like thickening up his country accent. D's top tier. D is playing a masterful game right now. Best, and I got to put her above Angela because she just performed the hell out of this episode. Naturally, the HOH is going to get a ton of content, but she's just playing an amazing game. Even if she wasn't a Survivor player, I'd be saying that. Rick did a good job. He's doing the same thing as D. I knocked him down a little bit only because D and Angela had a better episode in my opinion, and also that move a little sloppy there, Rick. A little sloppy, tattletaling on the red corner. Drew, good job to Drew. Drew in this, I'm actually gonna put Drew ahead. Maybe a little biased. I don't give a fuck. Drew in this one episode completely changed the narrative. The first episode, the narrative was that he's coming in really heavy, lots of energy. Ah! He's gonna annoy everyone. He was looking like he was gonna be a first boot. And in this one episode, he's shown complete 180. People enjoy him. He's had funny moments, good strategy takes, and he was brought in to a power alliance. Good episode for Drew. Good job. Haley, dog duty. Dog duty. Because your strategy is just as shit as Chuck. Your strategy is the Nicole Franzel strategy of sucking the dicks of the guys the whole season because you're a guy's girl, because you're supposed to be better than the toxic girls out there. Fuck you, bitch. Seriously, fuck you. And the thing is, I don't even think it's gonna work that well for her. I'm already seeing people don't like her. Like I don't know. I hate the strategy like that. I hate when women have strategies like that. It's just so annoying. I don't like when, and it's not about women should support women. It's not even just that. I don't like when any group of people use that as a strategy to fuck over their own group. I would be saying the same thing if like Selena was if Jason was in there talking about, oh well, I want I'm more of a straight gay. I work better with straights, so I'm gonna kiki with the gays, but I'm gonna throw them under the bus to the straights. I would hate that just as much, and it goes for any group. I don't like when people do that. That's in my opinion. That's really fucked up and traitor-esque. Speaking of Jason, we have Jason. This was a nice episode from Jason. Again, not stellar, but I really liked that moment he had with Angela. I appreciate Jason's presence on the show. Latrice could have been better. Latrice's only content has been about her being a MILF and an Angela hater, and Angela has given her no reason to be a hater. So Latrice needs to step it up. Clearly, she has an alliance going with Mama's Angels, so it's like, Latrice, you need to step it up, do better, because I want to root for you. You're a New Yorker, but you're making it difficult. Lyric, I liked Lyric the first episode. I still like her. The whole showmance thing is not turning me off. Like, I don't think this was a bad episode for her. I'm gonna put her. I don't know. I'll put her between Jason and Ashley. There was a lot of content for her. She is trying to play the game. I think it's just she's horny. And I mean, Rome is attractive. So I'm not going to act like she's totally wrong, and it's only her first week, so I'm giving a little grace, but she needs to get it together because she clearly is a good competitor. She clearly is not horrible at social game, but the fact that you were even in talks to be nominated shows that you got work to do. Mallory, this was a bad episode for Mallory. I'm going to put her below Latrice, but still above the MAGAs. Mallory just needs to get some game sense. It's looking like she has throughout the week, and she won the veto, good for her. But this episode, no game with the HOH, that's your fault. It's not even D's fault. It's your fault. You should be talking the game. D has nothing to owe. D owes nothing to you. You owe to her. So it's just disappointing with Mallory. And I mean, I didn't like her from her preseason stuff, but I want to be open minded, give her a shot. Melody, there's nothing to talk about with Melody. Like, I don't want to put her in meh because, like, these people at least gave us something, but I'm gonna put her at the bottom of meh because I have no feelings to her. Like, meh is gonna be the section of I have good and bad things to say and they equal out, or I'm completely indifferent. And with me, I'm indifferent with her. I'm putting her below. I'm putting her in could have been better. The first episode, all she talked about was Drew's annoying, and that was it. And now there may be a showmance. But she did nothing this whole episode besides talk with the girls for a little bit. There's nothing to report on. Just meh. And Ashley at least had a funny moment and has a character. She's nothing to me. Rome, I'm gonna put Rome second. I think that Rome so far has actually been a pretty good character on the show. He's had some good strategy talk, like, oh, I want to build a loyalty with Angela. He won the first challenge. It's just, again, a showman's is a killer. People, they get dickmatized or clipmatized and they lose sight of the game. And I hope that doesn't happen with Lyric and Rome, but unfortunately, I think it is happening. But again, still, he didn't have a negative presence in the episode. Taylor's gonna stay in meh. The only thing I remember with her is, the thing with Rick, and she went on the block. Part of me wants to put her above Ashley, but I'm gonna put her above Ashley only because I learned more about her than Ash. Actually, no. Ashley had a funny moment and didn't go on the block. You had a kind of funny moment, but still went on the block. And lastly is Yash. I mean, he went on the block, so I could say could have been better, but honestly, that whole PDA moment. But he has some really cringy videos on TikTok. Go on Twitter to see those, by the way. Yeah, where do I put him? I'm gonna put him at the top of could have been better. No. Actually, I'm gonna put. Well, no, actually, I'm gonna put him at the bottom of meh. He didn't do bad. He didn't do good. He had one moment where I kind of agreed with him, and yeah. I just realized there's no Manu on here. Right? He's the only one missing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. There's only 15. This tier list didn't include 2 people. It didn't include Manu, and then who else is missing? Barrett. Manu and Barrett. Who the fuck made this tier list? This dumbass. Whoever made this tier list. Emmy, dumbass. Barrett would go in good job for me because he survived the block. He got in a good alliance. I would put Barrett below Rick Devens and Drew. He needs to get his head in the game. He's a little too, dickmatized by the girls. So I'd put him in good job. He'd go right here. And then Manu, I'm going to put Manu at the top of Dog Duty only because I am not ranking a Charlie Kirk twin any higher than Dog Duty, and he's in the MAGA alliance, but at least compared to Chuck and Haley, I do think that Manu has some game going on in his mind. He does have game sense, and he is watching out for D, but I'm not rooting for the MAGAs whatsoever, so sorry, you're in Dog Duty. All right, before I wrap this up, hold on, I gotta deactivate this thing. Okay, so before we wrap up this podcast tonight, because oh my god, it went 2 hours, way longer than I wanted it to be. I apologize. But before we wrap this podcast up, does anyone have anything to ask? No, she rubbed me the wrong way as a woman. You're probably talking about Haley, and I agree with you, faux honey. I can't guess her age. No, age is confused. I don't know what her. Let me see how old Haley is. She's 29. Looks way too old to be 29. I think that she probably has filler, either Botox or lip filler. And I was just talking to my friend. I almost said her name. I was just talking to my friend about this today. You should not be getting filler of any kind in your 20s. You should not, because the second you get filler, whether it's Botox or lip, you have to keep up with it or your face starts to droop. So maybe that's why she, looks older than she should. It also ages you. Like any type of filler ages you immediately, especially if you do too much of it and you don't know what you're doing. But anyways, that was another podcast episode. So later this week, we will see who gets replacement nominee, who wins the blockbuster, and who is the first person evicted from the Big Brother game, and we'll be in week 2 with our final 16. Thank you all so much for listening. If you don't already, subscribe. Join the Bitter Brigade here on Slightly Bitter, where we spill all the tea, all the shade, and all the pink lemonade on reality TV every week. I will be back, I think, on Wednesday. Follow me on Twitter at Slightly Bitter and Instagram so you can see whenever I'm doing stuff. I think Wednesday. I might be going to Ariana Grande, but I think Wednesday. Thursday, I will be back with Chantel, where we will be talking about the eviction episode. Felicia Cannon will be joining us every Thursday, but I do know this upcoming Thursday she might not be there, but we might have Felicia again. So if you enjoyed Felicia, she's going to be a somewhat permanent staple on the podcast, which I appreciate because I had so much fun. And if you didn't watch it yet, we did an episode with her on Thursday, which was amazing. I'm in talks with some Survivor people and Big Brother people to come on. We might be getting an Australian alumni on here. So as the season progresses, there will be more people on here than just me talking to myself for a while. So do look forward to that. And if you have any recommendations of people you would like to see me bring on here to talk about Big Brother, please ask away. I have connections to Big Brother, Survivor, Beast Games, the whole lot. So also please comment, y'all, because the comments really do help with the algorithm. So leave me any comment, even if it's just a you're cool or just you talking shit, like even it's a hate comment, like leave some type of comment, please. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you, Faux Honey, John Zhao, D&D Fork, Arthur, DM Rocks, and Wood, and Jenna for coming in and chatting it up while the stream was going, and thank you to all of our non-live viewers. So until next time, stay followed, stay tuned, but most importantly,